My child was ill the day before, and my mother volunteered to look after him since I had no choice but to attend my job. To give some background, I, a 30-year-old woman, am raising my kids alone after my spouse died in a crash last year. We shared 2 children, one who's almost a teen and another who's younger, and the younger one has significant ADHD and autism. Being a recent widow, finances have been extremely limited. I get a bit of government aid, but it's minimal, and my husband lacked life insurance, leaving no inheritance for us. My mother and sibling assist with childcare when the children are unwell or during school breaks, as I can't pay for professional help. Problems arose when I explained that I lacked extra groceries at the moment due to not shopping recently, and requested she bring her own meals or be ready to purchase them, since the supplies at home were only for the kids until I could shop over the weekend. We'd all been very ill the prior weekend, and my area doesn't have a local supermarket, with the nearest one being a half-hour drive away. She suggested it would be simpler to bring my son to her place, which I agreed to, but my little one dislikes visiting there. Upon her arrival to pick him up, he had a breakdown because he didn't want to leave for her home. I inquired if she could remain instead, and I'd figure out a way to obtain more provisions before the weekend. She refused and demanded he accompany her, worsening the situation. My mother isn't very tolerant, but she and my sibling are my sole affordable options for childcare, charging only for fuel costs to reach me. She became furious and began shouting at us both, claiming she lacked the patience for this and had postponed her own schedule to care for him. She hadn't informed me of that when I requested her help. She also stated, directly quoting, that she wished we could swap existences so she could lounge and have fits all day while I handled employment, and let others exploit me and drain my funds constantly. How tough it must be for me to act freely while she does nothing except tend to everyone else. I never request loans from my mom, but my sibling and grandmother reside with her and aren't employed, so I recognize her high stress levels, and she often vents on me, labeling me a load. She frequently mentions how my devastating bereavements have harmed her, using insults or berating me for actions my sibling or grandmother take. I didn't raise my voice or debate. I just shielded his ears, faced her, and noted, "Mom, he's a small child." She exploded and yelled, "Forget it then, skip your shift and forfeit income. It doesn't matter to me, I'm going." Then she departed. Now she declares she won't provide childcare anymore so I can experience real hardship, which, if she sticks to it, forces me to skip numerous work days or locate a reliable caregiver who won't strain my budget. So I'm questioning, should I have been more lenient considering her immense strain, and that I get she's irritated and needs to express it. But I sense like an emotional target, and I don't want my children exposed to that too. I compensate her $40 each instance to cover her fuel. My son was unable to attend school due to illness. My mother only provides care if my sibling can't, during illnesses or school absences. My son also avoids my mother's home because my grandmother resides there, and she's a terrible person who attempted to fix his fear of darkness as a toddler by confining him in a dark storage space while I was at the medical center with his sibling, who had fallen at school and fractured his thigh bone. She was barred from supervising him afterward. My mother assured me that if he visited, she'd ensure he stayed separated from my grandmother. And I likely should have mentioned that my mother holds me responsible for my grandmother staying with her since I declined to house her after she lost her residence following her actions toward my son. I can see why your kid dislikes visiting her place. Her residence is filled with problematic dependents and she's highly poisonous. You're not the fool. She's entitled to her emotions, but directing them at you and your kids. That's unhealthy for all involved. Consider it. She refuses to aid a grieving widow with a child who has special requirements because you lack extra provisions currently, so you can learn what struggle really means. If you're unable or reluctant to assist, state it clearly, but don't turn it into a lesson opportunity as a pretext. So your mother and grandmother are both harmful. Whether in the same dwelling or not, it's likely still distressing. He doesn't feel secure alone with those individuals. I don't fault him. Your mother shouldn't supervise your children. She appears dreadful. Is your deceased husband's relatives close by? Can they supervise the kids occasionally? Unexpected turn. The kid wasn't the sole one having outbursts that day. The original poster's mother is the fool. Be lenient? No way. She revealed her genuine nature and displayed every warning sign possible. I'm sorry you're facing such a tough circumstance. For extra aid, visit the Social Security Agency if you're in the U.S. Your kids qualify for benefits until they reach 18. Best wishes. Response to all the feedback about Social Security. I was unaware of that and will investigate it. My mother-in-law informed me after his death that they had life insurance on him, but it would cover the burial entirely. They were the recipients, so I lack access to those details. They arranged it for him as a child. We weren't aware he possessed it. I discovered post-death that they maintain it for all their offspring. Incidentally, my husband's relatives won't communicate with me or visit the children following the incident. We weren't tight prior to the accident either. I, a 56-year-old woman, lately purchased my son, a 30-year-old man, a present for his fresh interest as a new father. A fresh collection of equipment for his vehicle. My son's wife, 30 years old, felt offended by this and messaged me stating, "Hello, I'm really upset about the present you gave David. It seems inconsiderate and belittling to me, particularly after all I've endured carrying and delivering this child. Just 4 days after birth, it appeared insensitive, and as if you ignored my emotions completely. I hope you could have chosen something for me or the infant as well, simply to recognize the intense labor and dedication that went into welcoming this tiny one. It seems my contributions aren't being acknowledged or respected while my spouses are being honored with presents. That stings." Her message surprised me. I believed I was doing a kind gesture for my son, and I thought I'd already provided her a major gift by assisting in organizing and hosting her baby celebration. That event centered on her and the infant, and I viewed it as my method of expressing affection and encouragement. But apparently that's insufficient. Considering how culture always emphasizes the new mother, I aimed to do something unique for my son, the new father, to help him feel noticed and valued. And honestly, he's my child. I believe it's entirely normal for me to want to prioritize him occasionally. It's not about overlooking the family group. It's about conveying to my offspring how proud I am and that I'm available to back them. I acknowledge it was merely 4 days post-delivery when I presented the gift, and perhaps that was somewhat insensitive on my part. But I didn't intend to downplay her journey or cause her to feel undervalued. I'm beginning to question if I've misread the interactions. Was I simply oblivious? You are the fool. Your present was for his new interest as a parent. Oh goodness, welcome to existence, small one. Here's an item that will occupy your dad while mom handles you. I think your son's wife message was entirely reasonable and demonstrates positive intent in desiring a connection with you. A suitable gift for a new father might be a child's sling or an accessory with his child's name inscribed. You selected the equivalent of a recreational diversion. This is my view. You didn't choose a personalized mug or cap saying "Top Dad." She didn't select a better barbecue or appliance to prepare meals for his spouse and infant. She didn't even pick a reading device so he can browse while staying awake with the infant at night soothing it, or quality earphones for audio content, while strolling with the baby, or a thoughtful item that would genuinely aid a new guardian without focusing solely on leisure. She chose a present that will divert his attention from his spouse and their infant. It's similar to gifting a new father sporting gear. Insensitive and irritating. You're like my spouse's mother who delivered my husband a coat as our initial anniversary present. It's over 20 years later, and I still recall how she overlooked me on our milestone. You should have provided a shared present or separate ones for each of them and the infant. Express regret and correct it. This is an event she won't overlook. You are the fool. When my deceased spouse was unwell, she expressed that she desired a portion of the settlement from her medical error to go toward our child's reserves. She also possessed an additional reserve account and wished to contribute to it. This was beyond what we both had accumulated for him prior to her condition.